Dr. Dan here. This is the 7th video in our Ready for Anything course design series. And if you've been following along, you know we've been slowly building out this course. And I've been kind of going through one technique to do it using your syllabus step by step to keep you organized. And where we were at in our last video is we had made these modules, we had made these learning objects, and now we were talking about Module 2, and we were talking about the home page in Module 2, or we were talking about module home pages in general. And I shared with you the way mine end up looking, something like this. I talked about these important elements, in my opinion, the to-do list, the objectives, the intro, and then the notes. And again, you can handle this any way you want or whatever's appropriate for your course. I know that all of our courses are vastly different, but again, these are the elements I like. And the idea here was that this is student-centered design because it shows the student exactly what they need to do in a course and exactly what they need to do that week. And they can look at it on their phone using the Canvas app, and it really helps keep them on track. So again, do it however you want, but this is a best practice. And I highly recommend, if you do nothing else from this series of videos, that you include a little to-do list and that you use your module objectives as something you can assess and quiz on by designing backwards, by establishing objectives first, then determining what materials they have to read to learn the answers to those objective questions, and then finally assess them on those objectives by making sure you have some sort of a assessment in your module. In this case, it was the mini quiz that reflected these objectives. Again, not to get into learning objective alignment too much, but again, think about that as you're designing your course. You recall when you were looking at my syllabus, I had my institutional learning goals out there. We haven't even begun to tackle that yet, but at least I knew where they were at because, stop a faculty member in the hallway and say, hey, what are you assessing in your course? And they're going to say, I don't know. And the reason is because it's not always top of mind. So if we start with the objectives first, design backwards, we're in good shape. I won't say another word about it. Maybe I will. But anyway, we're working on these module pages. We had our Module 2 we were working on, and I just kind of got this to-do list started, but I wanted to show you a couple of gotchas, especially if you're going between courses. Now, what I want to do real quick, and pardon my housekeeping here, but I just want to go back and look at my syllabus, and it's like, oh, okay, they're going to read the ACA law. I think that actually was optional in the course, but let's just go ahead and show you how that works. Now, let me show you a gotcha real quick that may or may not apply to you. In some cases, you might think, you know what? I'm redoing this course, but I have another course that's very similar, and I want to just copy and paste some stuff from my old course into my new course and not have to type all this stuff out. That's all well and good, but let me show you a gotcha here, and it happens all the time when we copy courses. If I go to my old course, and let's say I want to copy this right here because, here's the document they need to read about the ACA law. So why can't I just copy this in my old course and go to my new course? Why don't I just do this? So I do that, okay, and then I save it. So there's a big problem with this. The problem is when they click on this document, they go to the old course and they're going to get an error. And again, it's a little thing, but if you notice, like up in the URL in this new course, it says 3508. That's a course number in Canvas. If you click on this document, it takes you outside of the course to the other course to access this file. So you don't want to do that. If you do a course copy, that's fine. It moves files and everything. But if you just copy a link and you think the link is working, it's really not, because when a student clicks on it, they're going to end up going to the old course, which is where this link goes for this document. So I just wanted to point that out. Let me go to edit and get rid of it. So what's the right way to do this? So here's where the issue is, especially if you have a course that desperately needs a clean out and you haven't done it yet. You have to deal with files, and that's a real pain. Now, if you remember when I talked about the syllabus schedule, I talked about making sure you have a listing of your files here and even your file names, and I said that it would be helpful later. Well, now is later, because now I know, all right, I need this document, PPA, that's PowerPoint, ACA, complete, I think, full text, whatever. But I have this document name, and so I need this document. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, I need to get this document in my Canvas course. So let's assume it's not there. So I'm going to go to Files. Oh, I got to hit save my changes first. Sorry. And again, there's a couple of different ways you can approach this, but I need that file. So I can go to Files, and I can go to Upload. And I can go to that file, which is somewhere. There it is. And I can load it. Now again, there's a tiny little gotcha here, but it's good that we're doing this on video. The name isn't the same as in the syllabus of the file because I downloaded it twice. I want to make sure everything's perfect. So there we go. So now I have PPA CACON full text.pdf, and it matches perfectly what's on my course schedule. I know it's the right document. I'm good to go. So I have the file there. I'm going to go back to modules. I was working on Module 2 homepage. And I'm going to edit. And I'm going to say read ACA law optional, and I'm going to link it. There's a reason I'm going through this. There's that. I click on Files. There it is. I know what it is. Save. And I'm good to go. Now, there's a couple of different schools of thought with how you deploy files in Canvas. The way I like to deploy files in Canvas is exactly the way I just did it. I like to put a link to the file on the module homepage. There's a reason I like to do it that way, because the alternate, and I see this all the time, the alternate is to just pop the file in the module sort of in a raw fashion. In other words, if I was like, hey, you know what? In Module 2, they need to read this PDF, so I'm going to pop it in there. So what I could have done is I could have clicked on plus, add file, PDF document, and I could have put it right there. Okay? I could have done it like that. This is done all the time. Again, if you're not familiar with these icons, the little page is a page, the little clip, paper clip, is a link to a document. All right, the little rocket's a quiz, the little thought bubbles are discussions. But the reason I don't like to do it this way is because it doesn't tell the student what the heck this is. And I see it all the time. I see modules full of PowerPoints, okay? And they're put in just like this full text PDF is put in here as a file right in the module. There's nothing wrong with that, and you can continue to do it that way. But my thinking is that if it's laid out in a logical narrative form, it's easier for the students to know what they have to do. So both things are valid, but if you look at my homepage, when the student looks at the home page for the module, they're like, okay, I need to watch the video, which we haven't put in yet. I need to do the notes. I haven't done that yet. Ooh, ACA law. So the student needs this. They're going to read it, and then they can click on the icon, and the file preview comes up, and they can read the law right here in their browser. So it's 974 pages, so it might take a little while. But anyway, that's the way I do it. And the reason I like to do it that way is because it's all in one place for the students. And even if they're on their phones, they can just click on that little link, their document will come up, and they're good to go. If you do it the other way, which is it's really common. I mean, more than half the classes I see do it this way. If you do it this way, it really doesn't indicate to the student exactly what that is or what they have to do with it. I would rather have them point and click a link that has a logical name that says read the ACA law, and they click, then have them go outside of that page into the module to find the right file. And the reason for that is just simple design and ease of use. Most everybody is used to seeing something online and clicking on it and not having to say, ooh, I got to go through a list of files to determine what I need here. This is the way you do it. When you order something on Amazon, you see the product, you click on it. So putting these links in home pages, I think, is the best way to go. I think it's just a nice, clean, concise design that's really helpful for your students.